Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let it take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? 'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome to Wisconsin Family. I'm Janet Cresson.
And I'm Justin Riley, and we are here at the Steinway & Sons Piano Gallery over on the west side of Madison. And I'm really excited about today's topic when Ben Garber, the owner, joins us on the program. We're talking about kind of the innards of the piano and how the restoration process works a little bit, because it is possible to restore an old piano if you have one.
Mm-hmm. And Ben is a skilled technician, so he is the guy that can tell you whether it's worth doing and how much it would cost and what exactly needs to be done. He's got the know-how, he's got the fancy tools to do it. And that'd be really neat if you had a special piano that you really wished to bring back to life.
Yeah, there's some history there, whether it's personal, family, or just, it's been to some special places in the world that might be kind of nice to have in your home. So,
Yep, definitely. So stick around for that.
We've got a fantastic show today. I'm really excited about today's show. We're going to be joined by a couple of ladies from the Madison Brain Center. Now, this is a place that uses a technique called neural feedback, and it's to train the brain. And you can use neural feedback to kind of, alleviate symptoms caused by a variety of different ailments like stroke, ADD, ADHD, autism, things like that. So this is a really great kind of alternative therapy, I guess I would say.
Other than medications, I think the way they describe it is we go from tuning pianos to tuning brains.
Right.
They talk about how even just those of us that are distracted and multitasking and maybe a little bit of brain fog, that this is a way to get focus, clarity, get things done, and with quality.
Yes, anybody can qualify for it.
Yeah.
We're also going to be talking some more technology. Karen Orr is going to join us from iMyK9. This is a new product that's not out yet, but it's sort of a baby monitor for your little furry friend that you can keep in the car to make sure they're safe in the warm and cold months.
Yeah, which will be great timing. I think they are hoping to have this product out by this summer.
I believe so.
So great time with
Great timing.
the heat coming too.
That's coming up right after the break, so stick around for Wisconsin Family.
Welcome back. You're watching Wisconsin Family, and we're at the Steinway Piano Gallery right here on Mineral Point Road. Later on, we get to chat with the owner, who is the piano aficionado of all things inside and out, specifically talking about what's inside and restoring a piano. So if you have an old favorite that you're looking to keep, you'll learn how it all works later on. Right now, though, it is Wisconsin Family, and a big part of our family is our pets. And we have a special device that this woman's created. This is Karen Orr, and she's with iMyK9. And welcome to the show, Karen.
Thank you so much for letting me be here. An absolute privilege.
So give us a little background of who you are, and then we'll talk about the product that you've developed.
Absolutely. So I happen to be a physician assistant in surgery over at UPH Meriter.
Wow,
and
okay.
I get the joy of taking care of people all the time. But I also happen to be a mom of 2 kids, a dog, a cat, and a horse. And they're part of my family as well.
Wow. A dog, a cat, and a horse.
Yes, we have.
You probably don't live in the
horses.
city then, I'm guessing.
Well, we actually board our horse outside.
Oh, okay.
We live over by Warner Park.
Okay, gotcha.
Beautiful neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I'm really curious to know about this, because we talked a little bit about this before the segment started. iMyK9, tell us a little bit about this. What is it?
Yeah, it's a great question. iMyK9 lets you keep an eye on your canine. It's basically a baby monitor in your car for your dog. So when you're traveling together, if you happen to step away from the vehicle, it lets you see, hear, talk to your dog when you're away. You also know the temperature, humidity, and feels like temperature. Get push notifications if it gets too hot or too cold in the vehicle. I have a 2-year-old, and in our nursery, we have a monitor. I lay her down at night. I make sure the green light's on. I go in the room. I can watch her all night.
Yeah.
My child is safe.
Right.
I believe my animal needs to be just as safe when I'm traveling with them, so I developed iMyK9.
Absolutely.
Did you say you can talk to them even?
Yes, you can.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So if they're in the vehicle and you're in the store, you could see something's going on and maybe calm them down or redirect them or
Absolutely.
That's
So
amazing.
we used to also have an Irish Wolfhound, a great dog. He passed away on Thanksgiving, but he would always be just a little nervous. And so I picked up on that, and I'd go back and I'd tell him it was okay. and he was fine. I think that was probably the beginning of, in my brain, why can't I have better safety when traveling with my dogs?
Right.
And that was my next question is why? What drove you to develop this product and bring it to market?
I tell people my story is what it is. The good Lord gave me this idea from beginning to end from above. And at the time, I was waiting to go Christmas shopping with my friend. And I thought, wow, that's a great idea. Traveling with my pets. I wish I had something like this.
Right.
I looked, it was not there. So then I said, well, I'm in medicine, I'm not in tech. Somebody will do it.
Somebody will do it.
Somebody. And I am not lying. Every day, the good Lord kept saying, I am calling you to save animals. I am calling you to save animals. So in my family, if you don't know the answer, suck it up, Buttercup, figure it out, make it happen. So I went to the Consumer Electronics Show in January in Vegas, which is the international show for all things electronic, connected, and things like that. Was not there.
Wow.
So then I started doing it.
Wow.
Good for you.
That's a big
Thanks.
sign.
Yeah.
If you have this idea and it's not at the biggest tech conference ever, that's probably up to you then to get it
Absolutely.
done. And this is something that I think everybody should have, because everybody who has a pet or a dog that they travel with, because especially as we're kind of heading into springtime, it could be cool temperature-wise outside, but man, that heat starts beating into the car. It heats up fast.
You nailed it. You
Yep.
can get a 40-degree shift in a vehicle even when it's 70 degrees.
Yep.
And some people think, well, I'm going to park in the shade, I'm going to unroll my window. And the answer is no. That doesn't really change the temperature at all in the vehicle. And your dog has a fur coat.
Right.
It can get very hot in there in a very short amount of time. I mean, even the American Veterinary Medical Association will not let you travel airplane-wise if the temperature is above 85 degrees.
Wow.
Now that's not very hot, and the answer is because it gets hot inside things.
Yep.
And my dog, my cat, my animals deserve the exact same safety as my children because they're part of my family.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's
So
great.
when you've been working on this, when do you foresee it becoming available?
Great question again. We are hoping that late spring, early summer, we will have products available to
This
the
year?
public. Yes.
Wow.
Yep. We're talking to a couple of investors right now, and that's been our big hiccup, is that there's a temperature tag on the dog collar, and that costs money. Our apps are already all developed and ready to go.
Yeah.
So we're at the point where, because I've been bootstrapping this so far, because I believe in it so much, I've cashed out retirement for this bad boy.
Wow.
But I'm going to save animals from dying of heat stroke, because it's just not furry family members. It's working dogs, police canines, search and rescue, cadaver dogs, cybersecurity. There's over 1 million working dogs in America nowadays.
Yeah.
If we just talk about police canines, of the 50,000 police canines in America, over 9 die every year from heat stroke from being left in an unattended vehicle. My canine can prevent that because it provides a constant virtual presence.
Yeah.
Your dog's never alone.
That's awesome.
And would there be an alarm that would go off when it crosses some threshold?
Absolutely. We have developed not only high but low temperatures as well. So if it gets above the 85, which is the travel temperature standard, you get a push notification that says, Karen's dog is in an unsafe environment. I have 90 seconds to acknowledge. If for whatever reason, and there are many, but if for whatever reason I don't acknowledge it, the system will now send out 4 rescue contacts that I have pre-installed into the app, and because it's cellular, that GPS location of the dog gets linked to Google Maps or OneMap, and my 4 rescue contacts get the message, Karen's dog is in an unsafe environment, she is not responding, please save Karen's dog. And they know exactly where to go get my pet.
She's thought of everything.
Absolutely.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Boy, if we make a commercial for you, you got to be on. You got to be on that commercial and talking about this because you are passionate about that.
Yes.
That's awesome.
We love our animals.
Yep,
We just
do.
want safety.
Yep.
Karen, thank you so much. It's been really interesting learning about this product, My Canine. Keep an eye out for that. Oh, keep an eye out for it. Huh? We're Wisconsin Family. We'll be right back after this break.
'Cause every day is a new day. 'Cause every day is a new day.
And welcome back. You're watching Wisconsin Family, and today we are inside the gallery at Steinway Piano. It's on the west side of Madison on Mineral Point Road. Later on, we'll talk about restoring pianos. So if you have an old beauty that you are hoping to keep in your life, Ben Garber, the owner, is the master at what to do and whether it can be done.
Yeah.
Right now, though, I'm so intrigued to meet our next guest. With us is Catherine River and Dr. Judy Siesto from Madison Brain Center. Welcome to Wisconsin Family. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. So tell us a little bit about Madison Brain Center, what it specializes in.
Well, we specialize basically in tuning brains. We use a protocol called neurofeedback, which is biofeedback for the brain, and we work with the brain waves, and we teach the brain to use its brain waves more effectively. And brain waves are part of the electrical system of the brain, and the more they're tuned and work effectively, the better people are able to do almost anything. So you can reduce symptoms of focus and attention, things people call ADD, ADHD, post-traumatic stress disorder, bring down anxiety quite a bit. You can work with traumatic brain injuries. A lot of times seniors after surgeries get stuck in low gear, depression, things like that. When you train the brain waves, the brain has a better ability to rebound and function better. It's like an athlete training their legs and they run better.
Boy, this can be life-changing for people. Excuse me. Life-changing things that you're doing.
And I imagine that there are some people who are watching right now who, maybe thinking this maybe isn't for me, but I know somebody in my family or my circle of friends who would really benefit from this. Do you think that family and friends of somebody who might get neurofeedback could also benefit from that as well?
Absolutely. One of the biggest things that happens is under stress, or if kids are having issues with school, if you train the brain, transitions become 100 times easier. And I'm really not exaggerating. I've had people give me better numbers than that. Moods. We have people call us up and say, we drove 2.5 hours and our kids never argued in the back seat of the car for the first time. You have we call it little miracles that you cannot miss.
Wow.
If you have focus and attention issues, or you're a person that puts things off and procrastinates, and you do it till it's a need done, and you're trying to also spend time with your kids, a lot of times the multitasking you're doing is ineffective, and you're taking away from quality time in things you want to spend quality time on. When your brain is trained, all of a sudden you're getting your tasks done quicker, faster. You can turn off your phone. You're not scared you're going to miss things, and you can keep your priorities. So people who do neurofeedback spend more time with their families, or if their kids do it, they get more quality time. They're easier to have fun with. You're not always dealing with attitudes.
So it sounds like quality of life for everyone that's participating in this. This is really fascinating. Now, both of you are owners. Dr. Judy, what is your role at Madison Brain Center?
So my role at the Brain Center is very similar to Kathy's role. I've learned how to do neurofeedback with clients, and I'm also learning the art of evaluating them and managing their progress with the neurofeedback. And I, as a physician, I am not there to diagnose or treat clients, but what I can do is my knowledge can augment Kathy's amazing knowledge of human behavior and how that would all plays together.
Wow, that's fantastic. And how did you come to know Kathy, and how did you come to get involved with the program?
So I met Kathy about 4 years ago when I was looking for help for my 12-year-old son.
Okay.
He was struggling in school because he couldn't read, and I talked to Kathy, and she was the first person who actually could say to me, this is why he can't read, and this is what we do about it. And after working with her for a period of months, his anxiety went down immensely, and his reading levels went up a few grades.
Wow.
And now he's 16, and last fall, he was reading at grade level for the first time in his life. Yeah. So and so I'm totally amazed by the process, and feel that this is a very, very good alternative to medication in many cases, and in many cases can work better than medication. And so I'm totally amazed with this.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, I'm hearing such a spectrum of individuals that can benefit from this. So can you just sort of tick off a list? It sounds like really anyone could. Is that right?
Well, we call it peak performance because it's really fun to have your brain tuned, even if you're doing really well. We have people that come and try it, or their kids are doing it, so they try it and they notice it's tuned. Stroke recovery, usually your brain gets stuck in low gear. The brain will normalize whatever's going on and make it work for it. Even if you have a lot of anxiety or have ADD, it seems like I can cope and I can do it. So anytime you train it to be more effective, this brain is this miraculous thing that can do 10 times better than we ever think, and it just elegantly starts doing it. And I'd like to also mention that the quality that Dr. Judy also brings to the practice is a big piece with nutrition. Okay, and she's been working with nutrition for over 20 years and that helps across the whole spectrum of any symptoms anybody has.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm just curious, we just have a few seconds left, but is this something where people who seek out this type of therapy, are they coming back for multiple treatments? Is that kind of the idea, or is it, did you see results after one treatment?
Some people see results after maybe 5 to 8 treatments.
Okay.
Generally, 20 to 40 sessions
20
is
to
what
40
people
sessions.
need,
Okay.
and they can do those the sooner they do them, the quicker they get results.
Yeah.
So they can do a minimum of 2 a week or more. And once they do the 20 to 40, whatever it takes for them, then they may come back for tune-ups once in a while,
Sure.
but they don't need to keep coming back, which is
Okay.
really amazing.
Real quick before we go, is this covered by health insurance?
Usually not.
Okay.
We will let people give the bill to the insurance company, but it's up to the insurance company whether they will actually bill this service or
So a
pay
case-
for this service.
case by case.
With car
Yeah.
accidents or concussions that are
Yeah.
liability things,
Right.
those are always paid for because people get back on their feet
Yeah.
10 times faster.
Right.
Yeah.
And and we also flex plans. So if you take money out under a flex plan,
Yeah.
Oh,
flex plans cover our services.
Okay.
All right. All fascinating
know.
things. So, Madison Brain Center, thank you so much. Really interesting topic.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we're at Steinway of Madison. This is Wisconsin Family. We'll be right back.
'Cause every day is a new day. 'Cause every day is a new day.
We're back here at the Steinway & Sons Piano Gallery with Wisconsin Family, and I'm really excited because we've got a topic that I don't believe we've covered yet since we've started filming here at Steinway & Sons, and we're joined now by owner Ben Garber. How are you, Ben?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having us here again today. So I'm really excited because we're talking about piano restoring or restoration.
Yep.
So 2 questions. First of all, what does it mean if someone says that a piano has been refurbished, rebuilt, or restored? And is there a difference between all 3 of those terms?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think that there's any standardization for these words. People
Okay.
will always throw them around, right?
Sure.
I had my piano redone, restored, refurbished is a
Sure.
real popular one. I don't think that they have any meaning unless you've really gone over every part of the piano to determine what's been done, what maybe needs to still be done.
Okay.
Restoration should imply that the complete piano was brought to its original factory condition.
Sure.
In some cases, this is impossible, and in a lot of cases, people will say something's restored and it really hasn't been. It's really more of a aftermarket
It's been
job.
made better,
I guess.
as
yeah.
good as it can be.
Maybe. It depends on the case. Yeah.
Right, right. Interesting
So,
stuff.
For example, soundboards are a popular issue. And there are people that maybe have a little warehouse or a workshop, and they'll say, well, you know, we put new soundboards in pianos. It turns out that's a very hard thing to do. Steinway has an entire floor of their factory dedicated to soundboard installation, and it takes months to do it properly, and
Right.
the materials are very expensive. It's so specified in terms of how you put a soundboard in a Steinway piano that they won't sell the part to anyone anymore because the part in and of itself doesn't mean anything.
Right.
So when a guy cuts out the soundboard and drops in whatever, it's kind of like putting a Fiat engine in a Porsche, or it's just
Right.
It kind of takes that whole instrument and
Yeah.
and devalues it.
Right, absolutely. And when we talk about soundboards, I mean, obviously this is probably the most important part of the piano, really, because
Yep,
you don't
yep.
have the resonance without the soundboard. So if something goes wrong with the soundboard, is it better to replace? I mean, or repair? I mean, is it better to repair?
Yep, it depends on the circumstances,
Yeah.
and this is where you need to have the piano checked out carefully. If it's a small issue, a small crack or something, it can be repaired. And then again, if it has huge issues or problems and it doesn't have what we call any resonance anymore,
Right.
then replacement. But really the only way to do a new soundboard in a Steinway is to send it back to New York and have it done in the factory, which we
Wow.
can do.
Wow.
So, speaking of that, what do you do here in the store? Obviously, we know you sell pianos, you have lessons, and
Yep.
and so much of that. But what about the restoration or rebuilding or repairing?
Yeah, we do all different jobs for piano repair and restoration. It can be as major as sending the piano back to New York and have it completely restored to original, like new condition. Or it could be just a small repair, like something as small as new hammers or key recovering. That's a popular one. The keys get all cracked and people would like to have them recovered. So It's really customized based on the needs of every customer, but we do all of it.
And you're the one that would do the assessment. So if someone had maybe an emotional attachment, maybe it's an heirloom or a hand-me-down or whatever it is, you would come and make that assessment of this,
Yep.
this could be restored, it's worth restoring.
Yep, we go through all of those steps and what it
Okay.
costs and what it needs. And
Yeah.
there are times when it could be the value of the piano may be lower than the cost of restoration,
Right.
and so we let people know that too.
How
Yeah.
interesting.
Absolutely. And when you are examining a piano, how do you know exactly, how can you tell exactly what it needs to be fully restored, and how can you tell if a piano is not worth restoring?
Yeah, well, a lot of it comes from experience
Right.
and taking measurements on certain parts. And then, of course, we have data for values of pianos. But you really have to do that appraisal to find out what's going on underneath the scenes. Last time you were here, we were looking at a piano that actually had been sort of nominally redone, not very well by someone. And I think I played a little bit on it. This time I have a piano for you here that's been expertly restored, so
Okay.
it's actually a completely redone instrument. You wouldn't know it by just looking at it. You really
Right.
have to get under the hood to find out.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you do have a toolbox full of fancy tools to make all those measurements, but can you tell just by playing a piano,
Yeah.
what's been done to it, if it's been worked on?
You really can't just by playing. I know a lot of people play and they say, well, this one feels good, this one sounds good, and that's a fair assessment just for the player to make, but it doesn't tell you anything about what's happening in the pin block underneath the plate, or if the soundboard has full resonance. Those are things that we have to measure separately.
So you really do need the fancy tools.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you what kind of parts were used either, and that can have a lot to do with value of an instrument. So value and longevity are not accessible just by sitting down and playing.
So how old is this piano that we're looking at?
This is a 1903 Steinway, believe it or not. Yeah, right. This is 114 years, 15 years old.
It looks amazing
And it's like
sounds-
new now. Yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah. So what's been replaced? I mean, can you tell us what's been replaced on this this instrument?
So all of the parts have been replaced, and
Okay.
because it's a Steinway, we still have factory parts being made today. So
Okay.
that's an easy thing to do. So we use all Steinway parts. That's something to watch out for, because a lot of people will drop aftermarket parts into a piano.
Right.
They're cheaper.
right.
The soundboard was replaced on this piano because
Okay.
1903 is a long time.
Yes.
All new strings, new pin blocks. So this is really, and refinished, top to bottom, really everything's been restored.
So basically, the shell is all
The
that
shell,
remains from the original.
Yeah, the plate, the mostly the big wood parts.
Sure.
But it'll last another 100 years now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you talked about using aftermarket parts and how you want to try to avoid that if possible, and that's sometimes a cheaper alternative, but not necessarily a good idea. What are the best parts to use when restoring a Steinway
Yeah,
piano?
Steinway parts are amazing. They're made of the highest grade wood, hard rock maple. They last as long as action parts can last, and they perform better than any other in the industry. So, we always use Steinway parts in the Steinway piano.
Now, Ben, we've gotten to know you over the past few visits, but some of our viewers may not know your history, your background, your education when it comes to playing, performing, teaching, and repairing. What is your repairing qualification?
Yeah, I studied this in master's at Rice University, so I got a degree in that part. I have a performance degree and also sort of a tuning, rebuilding, piano tech degree.
A piano tech degree. The guy
Yeah.
does it all.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah.
So this was what we did in the school. We had to take pianos and fix them up, and
Yeah.
that was, part of our project.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah. So you had to do kind of like a final project. They'd bring you a piano,
Yep,
and that
they
was.
did, yeah.
How long did that take you? I mean, were you working alone on that?
Yeah, working alone. It takes, 60 to 100 hours to sort
Wow.
of put a whole new action in a piano, let's say.
Wow.
And then from there, of course, any degree just takes you to the next place. So then I started working for a Steinway dealer in Houston, and we did
Sure.
the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. Well, this is the Piano Man here. Teacher, performer, educator, and technician as well. You do it all.
Thank you.
And
thanks.
well.
Yep, and well. Yes, thanks for having us here. And thank you to all of our viewers. We're out of time today. We're Wisconsin Family, and we'll see you next time.
The beat, clap your hands, let's take control. All you need